Hello, everybody. This is Joe David Cantu with Hispanic News Online, and we are doing our 30 for 30 Hispanic Heritage Month podcast series. And we are bringing you leaders from throughout the country that are doing really wonderful stuff out here. And today we have somebody really special. If I could read you her bio, you would just, your mouth would drop. It's just so insane. It's crazy. Um, but I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her career and what she does. And it's going to make you want to sit back and listen. Marisol, welcome to the show. I am so glad you're here with us. Introduce yourself and tell people who you are, Marisol.
Well, thank you, JD, for having me on your show. First of all, it's an honor to be Latino. I was born in the Dominican Republic, moved to Boston when I was 9, and have pursued the American dream since. I have an undergrad in marine engineering. That's what I went to school for. Then I received a master's and MBA from Georgia State University. I had dual careers, being in the military and working in the civilian sector for 18 years. But in 2001, I became an officer in the U.S. Army, and I was accepted into the Army Aviation School, Rotary Wing School at Fort Rucker, Alabama, and I graduated in 2012 as a UA-60 pilot. I've been flying Black Hawk since 2001, and I've had some great opportunities serving the Army both in Iraq and in the Dominican Republic.
Whoa. Back up one more time. Before you continue, because I don't want people to miss this. You are a what kind of pilot?
I am a UA-60 Black Hawk pilot in the U.S. Army.
Oh, my God. That means you're a bad mama, aren't you?
I've been told that in the past, yes.
Oh, my God, girl. You basically strap a rocket to your back and you have gunpowder. Oh, my God. Latinas, get your ears open because we are talking to the very, very first Latina that not only is on a Black Hawk, but actually pilots it. She is the meta jefa, the one with the gun control. Oh, my God. Tell them some more. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, so I'm very privileged. When I was working on my undergrad at Mass Maritime, I had already joined the military to help me pay for college. But while I was at Mass Maritime, I was being recruited by a Marine Corps captain. He wanted me to go to flight school with the Marine Corps. At the time, I would have been the first female pilot. I turned it down because I came from very humble beginnings and I wanted to go to work. So upon college, I was still serving in the military, but I was hired to work as a nuclear engineer for GE. When I moved to California, in the back of my mind, I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted a second chance. I applied with the California Army National Guard, and I was told I would never get in to fly. But back with General Electric, they transferred me to Georgia, and once I was in Georgia, I asked again if I could go to Officer Candidate School. I was accepted into Officer Candidate School, and I was also given a letter of acceptance to go to Army Rotary Wing Aviation School. So, again, I was given a no the first time, but I pursued my dream, or I guess a second chance of being a pilot, and I was accepted. And since then, I've flown over 1,000 hours in the Black Hawk, and I've made pilot in command, flown some great missions from moving troops to humanitarian missions to collaborating with the soldiers in the Dominican Republic to just doing some really amazing missions.
Oh, my God. You do not sound like some of the stuff that Trump is talking about. Nuclear engineer, Black Hawk pilot, master's, PhD. ¿Qué más tienes, mijo?
No,
oh, my God.
I have a master's and MBA, so master's in business administration. But I was just told last week that I was accepted into the prestigious Army Congressional Fellowship Program, which is a program where they only accept 24 soldiers every year, and they will send me to Georgetown University to receive a master's in legislative affairs and then work with a congressman or a congresswoman at the Capitol Hill for the next 2 years. And this, again, will be my opportunity to sell the Army story, sell the aviation story, and sell the story that no matter what your background is, no matter how humble, you can achieve anything your heart desires.
So did you come back? I mean, did you come to this through a military background? Were your family military?
No, it's actually a pretty funny story. When I was a junior in high school, my best friend and I, for some reason, we decided we were going to join the military. My parents are blue-collar workers. I'm very proud of them, by the way. They left a good life in the Dominican Republic, came to the U.S. to pursue the American dream. So they were always working, and they taught me the importance of a work ethic. However, being new in this country, they didn't really understand the education system. So since they couldn't mentor me, I decided the military was a great way to go. My best friend and I, we decided we were going to join. We were going to go full-time and do great things in the military. Well, the last minute, she backed out on me. So I joined by myself. I did not join active duty. I actually joined the National Guard because my physics teacher saw my potential, and he encouraged me to go to college and become an engineer. And that's why I pursued a degree in engineering, because of my physics teacher, Mr. Lahan.
So you had no military background. It was just a way to get education. Wow. So
yes,
I guess, I mean, if you and you're in a place where you actually can't go to school because you don't have the funds and stuff, a military is a good way to do it. But it's always best to probably pursue through a ROTC program or something or other that'll help you pay for your college. Is that correct?
It is to an extent. If you're not sure, because, there's different people are on different paths once they graduate from high school. For me, I knew I wanted to go to college once I was shown that I actually had the potential. Other people want to join the military and decide later, hey, is college the right place for me? If you know you're going to college, yes, join an ROTC program. They will help you pay for school, and when you graduate, you have the option of accepting a commission in any of the armed forces. For me, since I was a reservist, I did 1 week in a month, but I still had a GI Bill. It's less money than being an ROTC, but the military still helped me pay for college. They helped me pay the student loans, and they also helped me pay for my MBA. So there's different options. You can join the military as a ROTC cadet, or you can just be a traditional reserve soldier 1 week in a month, or go active duty and take school at night. And if you decide after the first 4 years, 6 years, the military is not for you, you already earn money that you can apply to college and follow that option.
Wow, and even though you've done all this, you're still just continuing. I mean, this new opportunity for you must be really exciting. I mean, I'm very proud of you. I mean, wow, that's something really to have a Latina doing that is really important. So, you just continue striving for more education? Is that something that you're really interested in?
I am, and I'm interested in pursuing that challenge. The Army Congressional Fellowship, I had applied for it back in 2008 when I was a commander. I didn't get it. So guess what? I didn't give up. I had a dream of being a Congressional Fellows, and I applied again, and this year I was picked. I was, out of 100 of applicants, I was one of 24 that was accepted into this prestigious program. So I guess with that, what I would like to say is, sometimes you want something, you apply, you do not get it. Don't give up. Don't give up hope. It's just maybe your life, you need to realign your life for a minute, but then always keep that focus and keep pursuing your dream.
So earlier you mentioned that they they offered you the ability to go to flight school, and you said no. Tell me a little bit about that, because that's somebody that's usually given that opportunity, they jump on it. I mean, come on, to be the first Latina, to be a pilot, those opportunities are just great. Why didn't you do it the first time?
The first time, because I had attended Mass Maritime, and just so you know, after my freshman year in college, I did really well in high school. College was a whole different story, because now you're operating in a military environment or paramilitary where you have to get up early, be in formation, you have to clean the ship, you have to do homework with the door open in a very standardized setting. And I had a really hard time with that. So I actually, after my freshman year, I took a year off because my grades were not so great. I took a year off. I worked. I went to another community college, and I decided I really missed Mass Maritime, and I went back to Mass Maritime. So now that I had the drive to do well in college, while I was being recruited by the Marine Corps to be the first pilot, I also knew that after 4 years of working really tough, I wanted to go pursue a degree. I came from humble beginnings. I wanted to make money, and I wanted to travel the world, and that's what I did with General Electric. Now, in the back of my mind, yes, I did regret just a little bit that I didn't accept that opportunity. But looking back now is probably one of the best decisions I made because I've been able to have both a successful civilian career and also successful military career.
It's amazing, amazing. You just don't seem to give up, do you?
I try not to, but you know what? I also have to mention that I just have some great mentors. Just even in high school, Mr. Lenihan, he saw my potential to be an engineer and encouraged me to go to college. When I was at Mass Maritime, I was going to ship out to sea because that's what you do at a merchant marine. You get your merchant marine license and then you work on a ship, 6 months off, 6 months on. My placement officer sent my resume to GE without telling me. And next thing you know, I'm being interviewed and hired by GE as a nuclear engineer. So I have to, yes, I do have the drive and it takes an internal drive, but I also think you always need to have someone at your side, somebody you can run things by. You need to have a mentor, somebody that when you're having those moments of doubt, you can say, hey, what would you advise me? So for that reason, I'm very thankful to all the people that have surrounded me.
Well, that's really nice because I think that any of the successful people that we've spoken to definitely have mentors. Speaking of mentors, do you mentor kids now? Do you go out and talk to kids and about being a pilot and stuff?
I do, and I'm getting goosebumps as you're asking me this question. Well, I always have I've always, because of the opportunity that was given to me, is a personal agenda that I have to reach back and pay it forward. While I was even from high school, I used to do Candy Stripe. After I graduated from college, I was a big sister for the Big Brother Big Sister Foundation, and I was also a member of the Junior Achievement. More recently, while I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I started a lunch buddy program, which we pretty much adopted a local elementary school, and we spearheaded this project where soldiers from the Forces Command, which is the highest command in the Army, and soldiers from my unit would go and have lunch with these kids once a week. I did it 4 times a month. Some people did it twice a month. But we sat down with these students they were from kindergarten to 6th grade, and we sat with them. We helped them with their homework. We listened to some of the struggles they were facing at home. Some of them came from single-family households. Some of them, their parents were deployed. So we did that for the 2 years that I was at Fort Bragg. I spearheaded and developed a program. By the time I left, we had done over 300 hours of volunteer services. We also brought these same students to our aviation facility and showed them what a day in aviation would be. And now, I spoke at the Women's Veterans Memorial last October and at another function last Veterans Day, and I'm scheduled to speak October 5th at the Cradle of Aviation Museum, where I'll be speaking to young students, both males and females, the importance of pursuing a college degree and more so trying to get into the STEM field, science, engineering, any technical field in aviation.
Wow. So I imagine that there's all these little girls. Let me start here beginning, because you sent me a photo of you because I'm going to use it in this podcast, to show people who you are and stuff. But there's one killer shot of you where you're standing in the tarmac, I think, and the wind's blowing and you've got your suit on. What does that do when you actually show up and these little Latinas get to see you walk up like a pilot, like the other pilots, and it's not, a white or a black, it's a Latina that walks up? Yeah. I mean, what are the kids' reactions to you?
That picture was taken in the Dominican Republic, as a matter of fact, and it was for a project called Mujer, where 100 females, Dominican females, were honored for being role models and groundbreakers, pathfinders in the community. I was honored as being the pilot who pursued the dream and touched the sky. But I was surrounded by people who were Nobel Peace Prize winner, the first general of the police department, a lady who was hit by a ricochet bullet and was in a wheelchair since she was a little kid. But that picture in itself, every time I see it, even though it's a picture of me, it just gives me goosebumps because there I am sitting on top of a heliport, which is on top of the building, and the wind is blowing. The weather it was actually cloudy, but that's how that picture came out. And when I went back to Santo Domingo to be honored during International Women's Day in 2007, I remember young little girls coming up to me with tears in their eyes saying, you know, because of you, I know I can pursue a degree. I can pursue an aviation career. And I also spoke at my high school after I came back from Iraq in support of Veterans Day. And I remember this little girl again. She came up to me. She's like, my house just burned down. My family's really disappointed, but you just gave me the hope to pursue my dream. So that in itself, that's priceless.
Oh, that's amazing, amazing. So, you know, I got to ask you this because as a male Latino, I need to know how it feels for you. How does it feel when you get into that machine? That is like, you know, you guys out there, you know what I'm talking about. This thing is like the ultimate flying machine. It's powerful, it's fast, it's agile, it's deadly. It is the deadliest thing out there. I mean, when you get in there, there's another photo of you strapped in there with your goggles on and that jet behind you, basically. I mean, how does it feel to pull that throttle and just go?
Well, let's see. The way I can put it in simple words is I get paid a lot. I get paid to fly a multi-million-dollar aircraft. And that's a pretty darn good feeling. And sometimes, like, no matter what is going on in my life, the minute I get in the aircraft and we take off, it's like it's freedom. And the missions that we do, like I said, just sometimes just doing a static display and having kids come in and sit around and they're so in awe at this big machine and the fact that we can actually fly, that's a very rewarding feeling.
And you know, it's a funny thing. That machine doesn't care if you're brown, black, white, yellow, does it?
It does not, and it doesn't matter if you're male, female, whether you were born in the U.S., whether you were born in another country, it does not matter. All that it matters is that you take care of it and you can fly it. So
that's, I mean, kids, if you're listening to this out there, just imagine that you could fly one of these machines yourself. Marisol is a prime example of somebody who can do this. So I hope that they reach out to you and ask you questions. Marisol, if somebody wants to talk to you about, I don't know, furthering their education, their military, their son or daughters want to get into a program that they can fly, you know, jets or helicopters, would you mind giving you some information so the kids could maybe reach out to you and get a hold of you and maybe find a mentor in you?
I do not mind at all. Like I said before, I think I owe it to the community to pay it forward because of where I am today. It was because of mentors and people who took the time to see my potential and help me pursue it. The best way for the children, parents, or whomever, for them to contact me is via my email, and that's mchalas, CHALAS 1, that's just the number 1, at gmail.com. mchalas1@gmail.com.
Well, guys, don't forget, she just gave you your information, so please reach out. I am really, really, really glad you're on today because when I heard about your record and who you were and I could get you on the show, I was really excited. Moving forward, what do you see? Do you see a lot of growth and potential growth for Latinas in nuclear science and higher STEM programs?
I definitely do. I think if I could encourage, for me, like I said, I had no idea that I had the potential to be an engineer. I would say don't be afraid. The opportunities are there. They already exist. I think where the link is broken, it's one, the information is not getting to us, and more so like people who come from humble beginnings where the parents are not as involved with the school. And it's not because the parents don't want to be involved. It's because these parents are working 2 jobs trying to make a better life for their kids. So please don't think I'm saying that the wrong way. It's just we have different challenges coming from a different country. But what I would say is get involved for the students. Talk to your counselors. That's why they're there. If you're interested in pursuing a degree in any type of engineering. It doesn't have to be nuclear. It could be aerospace. It could be working for a TV station. There's many different types, or any other type of STEM. Talk to your counselors. And also, a lot of the corporations, when I was in high school, GE actually accepted me into the it was a internship program where one day a week I would meet with one of their engineers. So do your research, because there's a lot of corporations that want to start mentoring kids when they're in high school to start grooming them to be part of a STEM career. So yes, the opportunities are there. I guess I'm going to challenge the Latin community to go out there and pursue it. If that's something you're interested in, go do your homework, go try to find out, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help in any way I can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Folks, yes, we send our kids to school. Yes, they go from 8 to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whatever it is that you go to school at. But that's just the beginning. It's like anything else. If you want to lose weight, you eat well, but you also have to walk or do some kind of exercise. It's the same way with education. Yes, they're getting a basic education in high school or in elementary, but if you want to get further along, you need to do that extra effort. You need to talk to your counselors. You need to reach out and to mentors like this and ask questions, because it's really the next generation of Latino is going to be really important for the U.S. because our population is growing. Everybody knows that. The baby boomers are retiring, so there's a lot of job opportunities out there. So don't fall behind. Make sure that people like Marisol are there. They're asking you to please reach out and get your children involved. I can't tell you enough, Marisol, how much I appreciate you coming on, because I'm jazzed just to have you on. So I can only imagine what seeing you alive would be like. And I hope that other school districts and maybe children will ask their school districts to have you come in and visit them, because that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be. And if I could add to tie on to what you just said, JD, about, yes, it may be challenging to do the extra goal, the extra step, but the rewards are priceless. I can tell you, when I was a Mass Maritime undergrad, yes, the military was helping me to pay for school, but I also worked 48 hours on the weekends as a security guard where I had the time to do the homework. But guess what? Yes, it was tough. I was working practically full time. I was going to school full time, and I would also play sports. But you know what? I had a job in May. I graduated in June of '96. May of '96, I already had a job waiting for me. So all the hard work, those days of sleepless nights, of extra long days, they all paid off. So if I can encourage all the young Latinos out there, is even when the tough gets going, don't give up, because the reward at the other side, at the end of the tunnel, is priceless, and it will be worth every effort that you put into it.
Well, Marisol, thank you very much, and you must have had incredible parents to be so supportive of you, because I know it's tough out there coming to this country and having to learn a new language and support a family and get everything. So my hat's out to your family, and for God for giving you the grace and the stamina to survive and become the woman that you are. You are a role model and definitely one of the future leaders of Latinos out there, and on the rise, I can see. So I just want to say thank you once again for coming on. Is there anything that you'd like to say in parting before we close off the show?
Thank you for having me here again. It is a privilege. And like I said before, if anyone has any questions, I may not be able to answer right away, but I'll be happy to at least set you in the right path, or at least put you in touch with somebody if I can be of any assistance. And again, it's such an honor to be a Latina. It doesn't matter where you came from, what country, what continent, but just represent the Latina with pride and joy, and know that we are part of why this country is doing so well. Thank you again, JD.
There you go. You can't say any better than that. This country is made out of diversity, and we are the diversity of this generation. Latinos, Latinas, primos, primas, amigos, family and friends, thank you for joining us today. We've got 30 minutes with Marisol, and it was a pleasure speaking with her. Don't forget, we are going to introduce another Latino, Latina tomorrow. for our 30 for 30 podcast for Hispanic News Online. We are going to be doing this throughout September 15th through October 15th. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'm bringing you the top new leaders out there who are people who do not look for to be patted on the back and just doing the stuff that they do, but what they do is what shows leadership. So, gracias. Thank you for listening once again. Once again, this is Joe David Cantu, and we are 30 for 30 for Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you for listening.